More and more are joining them. The players are rejoicing.
Welcome to the Old Glammy podcast, a podcast dedicated to all things Glamorgan cricket. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, give us a follow on Twitter at @OGlammyGlammy or Instagram, search Glammy podcast. So sit back and enjoy with us the ups and probably downs of Glamorgan County Cricket Club. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of the Glammy podcast. Another record-breaking episode. Alongside me, as always, Ed Lockett. We're not doing this in person this week. We're back to virtual. I'm starting to smile because I haven't thought about it for a few days, but results. But we will get to the main discussion point, our win against Somerset, and a lot to unpack there. Before we do that, we'll round up the other club news that's happened over the last few days. Start with Glamorgan Women. They have maintained their unbeaten run. They played Kent Women in a 50-over match on Sunday, and Glamorgan won by 40 runs. Fantastic start to the season again. Daisy Jeans, she hit 110, but she wasn't the top scorer. The top scorer was Megan McCall with 111. Absolutely fantastic performance with about 354 for 7 off the 50 overs, and then Kent were 314 all out. Wicket's been picked up by Katie Cobb. She took 3 for 49, and Amy Wheeler took 2 for 54. Gemma Porter took 1 for 58, and then Bethany Ellis 1 for 23. So great start to the season. We'll round up their next results when they play, but fantastic. Well done to the Glamorgan Women. Not to be outdone by the men. They maintained the percent record. Absolutely fantastic. Over the weekend, there was also games for the second 11. They played 2 T20 warm-up fixtures against, I think it was against Oxford Uni. Glamorgan won both of the games, which took place on Friday. It was a blend of mostly youth, with the likes of Will Smith, Alex Horton, Henry Hill. Eddie Byram did play. He scored 44 in the first game. Callum Nichols, Jake Hope Bell. Dan Douthwaite, he played as well. He hit 25. And Conor Ryden, the trialist, he also played. Ed Lennon also played as well. Doesn't look like he bowled in that first match. Dan Douthwaite took 2 for 28. Ben Morris took 2 for 23. So they won the first match by seven runs. They 156 for 6, and Oxford 149 for 7. And then we'll have a look at just to catch up on the second match. Glamorgan won by 4 wickets. Oxford 170 for 4, and then Glamorgan 171 for 6. Ed Lennon did bowl 2 overs, no wickets though in that innings. And Glamorgan men, Eddie Byram, no score, but Dan Douthwaite hit 46, top score there. Will Smale 30, and Jake Hope Bell got 29. So yeah, some of those names I would expect to be in the T20 first 11 squad. Potentially some of those actually starting, like Alex Horton, potentially Will Smale at the top of the order as well. They have got the first competitive game in the second 11 competition. They play Warwickshire Bears. They're in the central group. It's in Newport. That is tomorrow. We're recording this on 13th of May, so that's on Thursday. And it's a very similar squad. Roman Franco, he's in the squad. Ed Lennon getting back to fitness, Eddie Byram, Ben Norris, Alex Horton, and Conor Ryden as well, and Dan Douthwaite. So we'll be interested to see how they get on in their first competitive match in that tournament. And we'll keep an eye, because like I said, some of those players will definitely be in the first squad, some may be in the first 11. On to the main topic of conversation, I think, this week. I'm smiling, Ed's grimacing a little bit. I don't know where we should start with this. What a game. So, what a game. Probably the best. The first time we won in Division 1 anyway, so I'll say that. One of the best performances I think I can confidently say I've ever seen in 4-day cricket for Glamorgan. And those comments were echoed by Edward Bevan, the veteran BBC Wales cricket commentator who tweeted, and he doesn't do a lot on social media, but he did tweet and say that was one of the best forms he's ever seen. I think the reason why it's so good is, so over the years, all the time I've probably been watching them all, except for maybe 97, we were capitulated, very easily capitulated, potentially on that Sunday night when we had to send in the night watch. That was one of the most nervous I've been, and then he survived till the end. And then I assumed it was going to be all over by lunch. Maybe the first hour, maybe 2 hours, but certainly I don't think we would have made it to lunch because we go on our past performances. We don't have the character perhaps to dig in, or maybe have the players, the quality of players to, whether it's a mental thing or just down to quality. I've never witnessed anything like that. Yeah, I just absolutely blown away, and the emotions of getting it. And I think a lot of the Morgan fans were feeling the same on social medias and interacting with the club as well. That yeah, it was just absolutely ecstatic the way the team. There's contributions all around to get us in that position, which we'll come to. And I think the thing for me was seeing the video afterwards of the team on the balcony, seeing those winning runs hit by Ryan Hadley. It just feels they're together. They all seem as like that. They're all there. They're all hugging each other. Captain coach Billy Root was there on the balcony hugging the assistant coach David Harrison, and Colin Ingram was there high fiving Kira Carlson. It just seems together, and it just seems that I realise that I think this is a special squad. Now, I'm still hoping we can survive in Division One. And it looks like we're competing, but it's a long season and we've only got Hanley now for the next two games before. And that's it. We are competing, which is great. We've won two on the bounce, which is I didn't really expect we'd win. We would win one this season, but we won two against a very strong Somerset team. And yeah, I just it dawned on me, and I think as Glamorgan supporters, we need to cherish this squad, and it is special. If they continue in the same vein, and we continue to have a bit of luck, because we did have a bit of luck, then we should stay up in Division One, and hopefully we can obviously build on that and look forward. The youngsters coming through. Right, that's the opening remarks. Kieran Carson won the toss, decided to field. We had a change in the lineup. I don't think either of us predicted that Tom Norton would come in for his debut. We knew that Jay McElroy was concussed and he was out injured and he wouldn't take part. So I think we just both assumed, didn't we, last week? It was Andy Golf and straight swap. You wouldn't chuck in Tom Norton for his debut against the strong Somerset team. But little do we know, and that's probably a reflection on the captain, how bold he is, Dawson, and the other coaches having confidence in this player. I think that's the beauty about doing this podcast, where we can look at what's happening in the second 11 and we can look at the names, and you can look at who's scoring runs and taking wickets. And it's what we've done over the last couple of years. We had it with Ben Kelly, Ace of Tribe in the seconds, and thinking they've hit form if they're good enough, they're young enough, because they're starting to come around to more and more that if someone's on form, then they should have a shot. And Tom Norton, some of the comments that he took the wickets in friendlies against Cardiff Uni or a second-rate Somerset team, he still took wickets. And it proves in this match that he can take wickets against, yeah. So I think James Rew has been called up to the England squad today. He took his wicket. I mean, okay, we'll see how he develops, and we see how hopefully Morgan will nurture him and not overplay him and can give him the appropriate game time to develop him. But what a debut. He's 18. I could never have done what he did. He's obviously skillful, he's got physical build. Just exciting times. He took, obviously, we talk about hat trick, but yeah, what a player and what a decision. And it's the right decision that he was given his chance. Other than that, it was the same 11 that beat Hampshire. It almost looked like it was going to backfire because at one point we were struggling to make that the follow on target, but we did. We got there, and then we ended up getting 229 all out, so we managed to get over. But of course, Somerset made 354. I thought that was a decent score. And one of my main mottos in life is never judge a pitch until two teams have batted. But yeah, 354 nearly was a match winning score, really, because our 229 was just nowhere near, and the 354 was a really good score. And Tom Abel, top score with 86. Josh Thomas with a 70, scored 71 as well. Bowling was spread around. Tim Van going to 267. Tom Norton took 3 for 75 in that innings. Ryan Hardy 2 for 69. Zane Halsan 2 for 61, 5 mains off his 90. So he did well. Calvi did bowl. He bowled eight. He's bowled in this match, didn't take any wickets. And Mason Crane, at first innings, took 1 for 32. And then our first innings, I know Ed was at the game and I was watching it. I was off work Friday, so I did watch a lot of it, and it looked tricky. Clearly, Somerset did well to get the 3 for 2, but when Glamorgan batted, it looked like a different wicket. Ben Kellaway took top score 59. Disappointed Ace to try and go out for four, but I'm sure the four will come. And then contributions from Chris Cook and Tim van der Gerten after the 2-9 all out. Avoided the follow on, which is great, but we were quite behind in this game. It felt at that point that the writing was on the wall where this was going, given how much quality was in Somerset's team. And then Ed might come in a minute in terms of what's happening with Somerset, because they did this against Yorkshire in the second innings, and they did it against us. They just capitulated, 157 all out. The hat trick, yeah, a hat trick from Norton. James Rue he got, then it was Tom Lamby, and then he got Archie Vaughan as well. Tom Abel did stick around, got 71, and Lewis Gregory got contribution 45. So, yeah, lots of positives from the bowling performance there. But once again, we do have a habit of not being able to break the last one or last partnership, which is frustrating. But the bowling figures for that was Tom Norton 4 for 61, Tim Van Gogh 3 for 25, Brian Hardy 3 for 28. Callaway did bowl in that innings, and Mason Craig had 7 overs and didn't take any wickets. Fantastic with a hat trick there. He's the youngest player to record a first class hat trick for Glamorgan, the youngest on record anywhere to do it on first class debut, and the first of any age on championship debut since 1906. Just the stats on that amazing feat by Tom Horton. And then we get to the Glamorgan second innings. 285 was the target. Didn't think we'd get there. Decent start from our opening partner. They made 81 partnership, and Zain Hassan fell. He scored 35 runs. Ace tried went on to get 52 in the end. And then Carson went only after scoring four, and the score was 91 for two. And Kelway, he's obviously coming in at four this experiment, and it obviously paid off in the first innings. This innings, he got 22, tricky conditions. But I think Ingram went before him for four. He went when the score was 133 for four. Then Callaway went 134 for five. So yeah, we were rocking then. And then Dixon came in, and yeah, shored up a little bit. He came obviously Handy came in and was the night watch, and then we lost Callaway in the first thing on the Monday. Then Dixon came in, and Dixon scored a really good 76. Really showed his quality. That partnership was they took the score to 248. It was over 100 run partnership, and they look decent together. Ryan Handy was playing and missing a lot, same as Sean Dixon, but we had the run with the green. And then Dixon went, and it was like, okay, Chris Cook experienced batter. He's due some form. No panic. Then he went for five, and then Van Gerten, he's classing him almost as all rounder now. He was going to do it, and then went for six, and then thought, oh no, really thought that we were in the mire and we are going to yeah end up losing it. But a nice little partnership with Hadley and Crane, and they got us over the line. Ryan Hadley with the scores the winning runs for his 50. He scored that off 231 balls. Great patience. And he faced more balls in that match, so the 231, than in his previous 19 first class games. I think he also said that since the games he's played for Glamorgan at home, he's not lost his wicket yet. So there's that. He's got a couple more games, but wow, yeah, what a feeling and what a result. Time to bring you in, Ed. I think the other thing I say before you come in is, and I will say this on the podcast because you've got this forum, but the Somerset commentator, Anthony Gibson, I don't think I've heard such a biased commentator. And a couple of other people on social media agreed as well. Somerset supporters as well, but it wasn't just Glamorgan supporters. The quote that, one of the quotes he said was, I'm not saying the umpire's wrong, but, and the other thing was that Tom Abel is an honourable man and he shouldn't have to walk. Cricket is based on walking if you've gone, and also the umpires call it umpires is the final say in county cricket. There's no review, obviously. And the fact that he was huffing and puffing and said that quote, and he sent a tweet out on Monday saying that some of the decisions were bad in certain words. I was just really annoyed at that because I just really annoyed at it. Anyway, just using this forum to say that he didn't impress me. So Ed, your thoughts, and then leading then obviously to your player of the match. But yeah, your thoughts
Yeah.
first then.
No, I wasn't aware about what Anthony Gibson said. Was that in relation to Abel's LBW and then in Somerset second innings? Is that right?
I think it was more something in the first innings,
Okay.
but I wasn't. Yeah, yeah. One of our followers mentioned that he was talking about Tom Abel, but I wasn't exactly sure which part of the match it was about.
What an advert for county cricket. And I think if you could easily have attended every game, every day of that game and like been enthralled, I think
Yeah,
just to slowly watch that game unfold was really brilliant. Yeah, I was only able to make the first day, but I can see how when you retire, you would just be happily watch county cricket for most of the summer. It was really good fun. But yeah, to see sort of Tom Norton from afar, yeah, he didn't look like an 18-year-old, but he looked fully developed and very sort of strong athlete, really. But then watching it on the stream, yeah, it's like sort of youth in his face. I thought the first day's play, fair play to Somerset, so they stuck at it, they batted steadily, but I also thought Glamorgan bowled really well, just very tight. And Zain Al-Hassan, a bit unlucky, just kept on plugging away. And yeah, I think it's really good to see Carlson out there. I think he's a great fielder and it's so much energy and really just a natural captain, or natural sort of person to be in that team with his sort of demeanor, really. I thought, yeah, he's got a sort of a good harmony going on. But yeah, so first day's play, I thought, yeah, but obviously Somerset lost two or three late wickets. But yeah, like you, I was thinking Glamorgan probably would have been happy with that. Anything under 350, they would have been happy considering that they won the toss. But yeah, for Somerset just to creep over that on the second day was good. And then yeah, and Somerset were in the driving seat, having bowled Glammy out for less than 250. Yeah, I think the turning point was the hat trick. I think if Somerset had gone in like 40 odd for one or two, that would have been a real success and they would have really kicked on that third day. But to be six down, it was, yeah, it really swung the game in Glammy's favour. But having said that, I did think Abel and first off, Overton batted steadily just to make the score competitive. And then Gregory came in and him and Abel batted well. And then when Gregory was out, I thought the 30 runs that Abel added with ball who was North not would see Somerset over the line. I thought it was quite an impressive way to see how he just dominated the strike and was often getting a four most overs, and then on a single on the sort of the fourth or fifth ball. So yeah, it was. I thought probably the even though Abel was out straight after lunch, I think the game was in Somerset's favour. A really good start from Tribe and Alassane, and then yeah, just a brilliant performance. Everyone contributed. You could say Carlson didn't get the runs that you would normally want from him, but like I said, I thought he was excellent in the field, and yeah, it's a really good ball of energy that the sort of the players feed off. I think he seems a popular captain. I think
Yeah.
definitely the players seem to like him, and I think he clearly loves the game. Carlson, he really like enjoying being out there, and that's infectious. So yeah, everyone contributed, I think, really, but I can't ignore Tom Norton for man of the match.
They're fantastic. We'll see how they manage it, but what a performance from an 18-year-old, and absolutely fantastic. What a moment that was as well. Okay, so we took 19 points from that game in total, and we now sit fifth in the table with 2 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws, 8 backing points, and 13 bowling points. We're level with Sussex on 69. Another 90 points, maybe. We may be safe, but we'll look ahead to our next game now. Warwickshire. Ed will provide us with some rundown of the personnel. Warwickshire, they won against Yorkshire in their last round of games, so Yorkshire do sit second on 74 points. So, yeah, 5 points above us. They've won 2 as well, lost 1, drawn 2. Are you able to give us any information about the personnel at Warwickshire, Ed?
Yeah, their coach is Ian Westwood, and their captain is Ed Barnard. He previously played for Worcestershire, but yeah, all rounder. Overseas player is Bo Webster, all rounder, and yeah, it'd be interesting. Main bowler to look out for, Ollie Handalby, yeah, been around the circuit a long time. It'd be interesting to see if Keith Barker plays, because I know so he was signed from Hampshire in the winter, so he's an experienced pro. One of those players, interesting players that also was a very good footballer as well, and I think with Blackburn, but chose cricket. Anyway, but I remember seeing him play for Hampshire last season, and yeah, he's a big bloke, and it looked like it was every movement was difficult, but he was just pure muscle, sending the ball down with just using his strength rather than any action. But yeah, player that has been there, done it, and knows how to do it. It'd be interesting to see if he's fit. But it's going to be a tough game, obviously at Edgbaston. But I'm feeling like these last 2 wins for Glammy will really add to their confidence so much more again. And they've got nothing, and they'll definitely compete. I think on form, I think Glammy should fancy themselves. But let's see. I don't want to get too carried away.
Yeah, we'll, as a global sportive, can never, ever get too far ahead of oneself. The forecast of the year looks like there's going to be, I thought there was going to be some loss of game time against Somerset, but didn't lose much time. It does look like it's going to be showers on all 4 days. So that may have a factor. But yeah, let's not lose it. And we'll see how it all fans out. And then again, the toss will be important if the weather is where there's rain about and overcast. Yeah, I was looking, remind myself of the fixtures. We have played 5 games and we have got one. This is the last game now before the T20 starts. And yeah, so this will be Ryan Hadley's last game for us. He's not signed on for the T20. I don't know what's going to happen in June because we've got a couple of county championship games. But no, Ryan Hadley was signed for this first block of 5. So not sure what's going to happen there. I think the other thing to say about going back to the Somerset game, which I wanted to say, is in the past we would have been if one of our bowlers got injured like Jamie McRoy did, we would have put someone in, but they may not have had a bearing on the match. The quality to make a difference in the match, and perhaps that we wouldn't have had the strength in depth. But to substitute Jamie McRoy and put in Tom Norton, and for him to have the impact he did, it does make me excited because we may have whisper it quietly, we may have that little bit of strength in depth in the bowling department, but that then concerns me if we've got 2 games in June. It's such a great start that we're not going to have an overseas player, or we can't get Ryan Hadley to stay on. And then we are then down to McIlroy, Van der Gerten, who he will need a break. Colvin, no. So that's just a little bit of looking in the distance to see, okay,
Yeah, it'd
obviously
be
Ned let,
interesting to see what happens. But with Norton, what do you do? Because
yeah,
at the end of that first day, he did go down to stop a fairly routine ball and didn't pull a hamstring, and he sort of he went off the rest of the day. So there's only 10, 20 minutes left of the to play. But with any fast bowler, there's always that risk of injury. So to protect him, you might say maybe play him this game, but then give him a rest for the T20s. That's
yes,
probably the logical thing. You've got to manage their workloads with fast bowlers, haven't you? Yeah. Especially when games go that like the whole 4 days. So
that's the roundup of the other recent results. We will be back next week to review the Warwickshire fixture. Then we may have a break then when the T20 arrives. In terms of probably keep the same playing 11. Depending on how Tom's fitness. But yeah, look, thank you for joining us. Thank you for interacting with us on the social medias. Give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. And that's I hope everyone is enjoying these shows and interacting with us on the social media. We will be back next week to review the outcome of the Warwickshire fixture. And that just leaves me to say bye for now. Go Glammy.
More and more are joining them. The players are rejoicing.